Ashe. Ashe and Grand Rising once again to you all, my very beautiful people. Yes, you my highly melanin, highly enriched melanin people, you the Earth's original organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. It is I, the Mystic Philosopher, and yes, it is evident that I'm still here with you on this side of reality another time, and welcome back to the Mystic Peace, talking again on the 15 minutes with I, the Mystic Philosopher. And this is episode 57. Now, the main topic of the series, as you know, talks is stress on the mind, or more correctly, the impact that this thing called stress has on this thing that we humans call mind. And from I, the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the solution to this problem, or the solution to this disease called stress, can or it may be found in and by understanding, understanding, and overstanding the want equation. And what is the want equation? Want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, which is equal to unhappiness. And also, by putting into practice the knowledge that can be gained from this profound equation. And the quote that I'm using to make and to illustrate my points is from the 23rd Psalm, as found in the Adamic Race History and Holy Book. And I quote, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Unquote. Now, in some of my previous episodes, my last talks, I asked that you please meditate on the want equation for yourself. Want is equal to money, which is equal to unhappiness, and that you should see what you can or what you may learn and derive from it for yourself. Not just my words, but check it out. If it makes sense to you, then you use it. I ask that you you evaluate it for yourself and see what makes sense for you personally. That's your assignment for you. If it don't make sense, ignore it. But what I'm saying don't make no sense, just go to the next channel or watch something else, no problem. In my last episode, which was episode 56, I answered and shared with you some of my unique perspectives and insight, unique and thought-provoking perspectives and insights on the equation. Rather, on the question, why did the psalmist said the Lord, Yahweh, the Lord, or Yahweh is his shepherd, he shall not want? I dealt with that. I will be talking a bit more on it right now. And many of you have since, surprised, but many of you, not quite surprised, because I have some bright people listening. And many of you have since admitted to me, and above all, many of you are admitting to yourselves the fact that you have never in your life heard, read, looked at, interpret, or taught about this, the 23rd Psalm, the alleged author, King David, a shepherd, or rather a sheep. Never thought about a sheep, or King David was a sheep. His God, his shepherd. His God was his shepherd, the Lord who is the Lord, Yahweh, and beyond. You ever thought, beyond thought-provoking insights and perspective that I have shared and that I am sharing with you, you have never looked at these things like that before. You told me that. Many of you have admitted to me that now some of the things that are written in the Adamic Race History and Holy Book start to make some logical, rational, and practical sense, and that some are just fables and nonsensical, etc. Some of you have even told me that now you know and understand that we have been bamboozled. Learn a new word, bamboozled, and that we are being bamboozled for all your life by some of these sweet-talking, cross-dressing, charismatic preachers and pastors that either don't know these things or that they are simply being wicked and lying to you for their own personal success and for their own monetary gains, etc. And I have to be reminding you and telling you that the truth is that some of them really and truly don't know these things, and that these things that I'm telling you. Because just like myself, I was a victim too. Just like myself, they themselves were never taught them. And nor were they taught or encouraged to use their own brain, their minds, their own human intelligence, and to independently read, think, and interpret these writings called scriptures for themselves. But they were only taught, instructed, and encouraged to regurgitate and repeat the ideologies, doctrines, and interpretations of their churches, of their denominations, or of their religions, and that which and that which their bishops, their teachers, their elders and masters, etc., etc., had taught, instructed, and encouraged them to say and to do. And some are, some are very honest and sincere in their belief in what they are telling you they do. But now that you are thinking and analyzing things for yourself, you are coming to the knowledge, the understanding, and the understanding and overstanding that they were, and that some are still honestly and sincerely wrong. That they were wrong, and that they are still honestly and sincerely wrong or mistaken, and that them, though being honest and sincere, some of them are very honest and sincere, passionate about their honesty and sincerity. And sincere. That do not change the facts. Honesty and sincerity does not change facts. Now that you know who and what a shepherd is, and above all, now that you know, understand and understand that it is meaning the shepherd's unconditional obligation and responsibility to tend to his sheep and to care for his sheep in any and every way possible, then you must also sensibly, logically, intelligently agree that a sheep is, or that sheep with a shepherd are and should be the most safe, the most secure, and the most well provided for animal on the planet Earth. A sheep with a shepherd has no worry and absolutely nothing to worry about. And why? It is because the shepherd takes care of everything. That's his job. All the sheep has to do is be sheep. Meaning eat, sleep, drink, and be merry, or aka be happy. For example, a sheep with a shepherd does not want. A sheep with a shepherd cannot want, and nor is it found wanting. A sheep with a shepherd does not and cannot be lack, aka be lack for nothing or for anything. A sheep with a shepherd does not worry or have to worry, and nor can it or should it be found worrying about, let's say, shelter, worrying about where it's going to live or where it's going to lay down its head for the night and take its rest. A sheep with a shepherd does not have to worry about where its next meal is coming from and whether or not it is going to, come on time. And why? Because it is the unconditional job, the unconditional responsibility and obligation of its shepherd. And that is why the sheep, aka the psalmist David, called King David, was able to very confidently and boastfully say and wrote that his shepherd, who he identified by name, is doing his job of being a shepherd. Quote, the Lord, or Yahweh, is my shepherd, I shall not want. He, the shepherd, maketh me, talking about King David now, to lie down in green pastures, unquote. In other words, my shepherd makes me have and experience the most comfortable life. A sheep with a shepherd does not worry, and nor does it have to worry about any danger in life. Dangers such as a potential deadly storm, tsunami, floods, hurricanes, or the very treacherous sharks, crocodiles, infested and deadly waters, you name it or you name them, that it may have to cross or must have to cross to get to the other side, because the sheep knows that it is the unconditional job, responsibility, and obligation of its shepherd to get it there safely. And that is why the sheep called King David was able to so very confidently and boastfully say and wrote, and I quote again, he leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And again, why? It is because that is the unconditional job, responsibility, and obligation of its shepherd. A sheep with a shepherd has no fear. Not even for its worst predators or its worst enemies and foes. A sheep with a shepherd lives comfortably and is always comforted just by knowing that it has a shepherd and know who and what is or what its shepherd is. The sheep wants it knows. And that is why the sheep called King David was able to so very confidently and boastfully say and wrote, and I quote again, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, unquote. And again, why? It is because that is the unconditional job, responsibility, and obligation of its shepherd. A sheep with a shepherd knows that it can live lavishly in the presence of all its predators, aka its enemies and foes, and know of the fact that their evil eye, their evil intent and ambition, their greed and their bad mind, their evil craft and crafts, etc., that come close to it, cannot come close to it, let alone touch it. The sheep knows that they can't come close to it, let alone touch it or affect it. And as I've mentioned before, or at the very least, as I've implied in my last episode, which was episode 56, that a sheep with a shepherd does not have to serve, worship, pray, beg, fast itself, or even humiliate itself, or pay tithe, or compensate the shepherd monetarily for his service, etc., etc., etc. But all it has to do is to live a life of pleasure until such time. A sheep with a shepherd I won't be looking and watching out for its predators, aka it doesn't watch out for its predators or its enemies. Not the job of a sheep to look out for its enemies or its predators. A sheep with a shepherd does not have to be calling out to its shepherd and begging him to protect it from an enemy or from its enemies, etc., etc. And why? It is because that is the unconditional job and responsibility and obligation of its sheep. And that is why the sheep called King David was able to very confidently and so very boastfully say, and I quote, "Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies, thou anointest my head with oil, and copper, and it over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever in my flock, among my mats forever." And quote. So from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, if you are a sheep, or if any of you, my melanin people that call yourself a sheep, and especially if you are a sheep that claims that you subscribe to the Adamic race shepherd, aka the Adamic race God, the Elohim, the Lord, the Yahweh, Jesus Christ, or Yahushua, etc., etc., and the God or the shepherd that is spoken of in this, the 23rd Psalm. And if you are not living, experiencing, and demonstrating life like the aforementioned sheep with a shepherd, and can hereby testify to these facts, like the sheep called David or King David, then either one or all of the following are true. Number one, you are a liar. Number two, you are a fool. Number three, you are deceived or you are being deceived. Number four, you don't have a shepherd. Number five, you have the wrong shepherd. Number six, you are in the wrong pasture. Number seven, the shepherd that you have is an imposter. Number eight, your shepherd is either dead, subdued, exiled, in prison, or has run away from you. Number nine, your shepherd is no damn good. Meaning, he or she is your shepherd is grossly incompetent and don't even deserve to be called a shepherd. And I could go on and on, but you just pick any or all of those that best fits your current condition or your current situation as a sheep. And all I ask is that you to your own self, you be true to yourself and see which one match you. Again, thus far today, in today's episode, let me try beat some time today. And thus far in today's episode, I honestly think that I have given you, or at the very least, I honestly think that I may have given some of you, if not all of you, a lot more to think about and possibly a lot more to look forward to in my next episode, especially as it relates to stress, the seed called want, and the want equation, etc. And so in the interest of time, I think that I just have to pause here and stop for today and ask that you please join me. If I when next I'm talking again, possibly in episode, what is it going to be, 58, where and when I will be talking and sharing with you some more of my insight, thought-provoking perspectives and insight. And I'll continue to talk about the magical, mystical, and metaphysical aspect of the word want, the command and the commandment, you shall not want. And hopefully continue answering the question and giving more examples of how I did get rid of want and by extension stress. How we can do it. For remember, I shall not want, you shall not want. We shall not want, and nor should we be found wanting. In the meantime and between time, please let me again remind you, my beloved people, that yesterday's history too is dead and gone, no more to come back, but tomorrow is a mystery, it too may never come. But today is a gift, which is why we call it the present day. And so I hereby implore you, I'm imploring you to live for today. And by live, I mean claim your natural birthright. And just in case you may not know what that is, or may have forgotten what it is your happiness. And I encourage you to full joy today. And let's just only hope for tomorrow, because it too may never come for you or for me or for I, the Mystic Philosopher. So thanks again for your time. Thanks for listening. And I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.